It appears as if this bear market is over. Bitcoin is appreciating, but the altcoins are performing even better. And that's not usual. Usually when we come out of a bear market, it's Bitcoin that outperforms because people first stay risk off. They tend to just dabble into the crypto market, and then as the momentum heats up, people rotate into more risk on assets. This time things are different. Even though everything is going up, there are some altcoins that do better than others. And one of the top performers is Pump.fun. The Pump token in the last 2 months appreciated by more than 300%. And so maybe that's now the new way to be rather risk off at the beginning of a bull market. We don't buy Bitcoin, but we buy the aggregate of the risk on assets, the platform where risk on assets like meme coins get traded. That could be one explanation. The other explanation is that the Pump ecosystem is gaining momentum again. Just have a look at the daily buybacks. In the last 2 months, that tended to increase again, despite now only half of the revenue being allocated to buybacks. Before April of this year, all of the revenue was used for buybacks. Now on this long-term pump chart, we might imply that there is still another 80% or so of upside potential. The problem is that no cryptocurrency is traded in isolation, right? It's always about relative performance. How does one altcoin do relative to others? Market phases like this are a reminder of that effect. Either everything is going up or everything is going down at the same time. So really it's about relative performance. And so this is the pump price in US dollars, but here is the pump price relative to the rest of the altcoin market. I don't think that it's a coincidence that in the last hours, Pump had a hard time to outperform further. I don't think it's a coincidence that those two tops align so well. The resistance we have formed 48 hours ago, I think it's quite significant. By the way, if this is your very first time here on this channel, feel free to check out the link down below. This is my track record over the last 2 years. Most people have lost money when Bitcoin fell. We are at an all-time high. And that's not just due to luck. That's because of a system of relative valuation trades. All of the trades that I have opened and closed are in the link down below. I don't think many other channels are as transparent as this one. There's also something new, Bitcoin Strategy Autopilot. So for the premium members of this channel, there's a platform where you can co-invest in various strategies, stock funding arbitrage, oil convergence, Bitcoin trend following, the average of all of those strategies if you invested when they launched. That's the performance shown in this chart. But as said, this has just launched recently, so 3 weeks ago. There is still major volatility, but feel free to also learn more about this here in automatic copy trading on the website. Now it appears as if Pump.fun is not as decentralized as people think. Some meme coins relating to China, for example, got banned. And there are rumors that the Pump token is going up because there's more promotion around it. The team has a strong incentive that the price is high for the next weeks because there will be a major unlock next month. The token is actually quite inflationary. 1 year from now, we will have 28% more supply, and those unlocks are linear. So the same kind of unlock in 2028, and then it slows down in 2029. Pump was the 3rd largest ICO ever. The project had a massive rally at the beginning of 2025 at the height of the meme coin trading bubble. But now Pump.swap has just reached a new all-time high in total value locked. So that's a measure of how much capital is on the platform. The idea that the team is currently engaging in more marketing in order to then exit at a higher price seems to be quite valid, because check out the number of social mentions of the Pump token over time. So that's here the gray bars. It's suddenly picking up in the last days. We can see how Pump relative to the altcoin market outperformed already before Bitcoin did its major turnaround. So Pump relative to the altcoin market bottomed again 2 months ago, but Bitcoin, that's the line at the bottom, it really only pushed higher in the last week. And at that point, Pump already outperformed the rest of the altcoin market by almost 150%. The question is always, is this just a rally that's driven by short-term leverage? And I think the answer is only partially yes, because the funding rate on the perpetual futures is high, so there is some short-term speculative capital in the asset. But when we look at the increase in open interest, so how many bets are currently made on the token, that actually did not go up as quickly as the price. In other words, the recent rally is much more spot driven than perpetual futures driven. More people are simply buying into the Pump token and hold it in their wallets instead of just short-term speculating on the asset on the perpetual futures. And that's fundamentally a good thing, because those two markets, they are at odds with each other. The spot market is for the long-term holders. When we buy and sell an asset on the spot market, we usually have to pay roughly 0.2% trading fees. When we use the perpetual futures, the trading fees are much lower. They tend to be 0.05%, so only a quarter of the trading fees. But then we have financing fees. And the financing fees, they add up over time, especially on the long side. In other words, if we want to hold an asset long term, we should buy it on the spot market. If we just want to bet on the asset short term, we should use the perpetual futures. If we now see that this rally in Pump is mainly driven by the spot market, that means that the demand tends to be rather long term, not just short term. That's at least the thesis. We also see how the trading volume on the perpetual futures market, while it is elevated compared to the last weeks, it's not as high as it had been in September of last year. In other words, there's still quite a bit of room to grow. Also, the number of short liquidations is not necessarily that high, given how quickly the price appreciated. Almost the same number of longs got liquidated as well, simply because of the volatility. So I don't think this is a short squeeze. This is natural spot buying. The only problem is this resistance versus the rest of the altcoin market. Pump has already seen quite a bit of a rally, and it's now turning around at exactly the point that we would expect. I want to share one more thing. Down below in the pinned comment, there is a link to this here, Gearart AI. I just launched this week. It's trained on all the premium content of this channel, all the tutorials, all the market updates, the Q&A, the technical papers, etc. You can ask it anything. What's my take on Bitcoin? How does copy trading work? How do relative valuation trades work? And how can you take advantage of the trading signals? This bot explains everything. It's 100% free and it's linked down below. Feel free to check it out. If it's the first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time. Cheers.